Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So let's visit the iPad 10 generation once again in this video. See, the iPad 10 has always been a weird entry in Apple's iPad lineup. It had quite a few good things going for it, but also it had a few shortcomings, especially when it launched. So now, nearly after a year and a half later, should you consider buying this iPad, especially when Apple fixed all those shortcomings, and this iPad now has got a really decent discount on it. Here in the UK, it has a whopping £120 off its price tag, selling at £379, and in America, Amazon is selling it at $349 pre-tax, which really is an amazing price. I will link it down below if you wish to check it out. So when the iPad 10 was announced, I expected it to replace the current 9th Gen iPad, and the price would probably reflect that. But Apple kept the 9th Gen iPad. Fair enough, it works for kids and schools, which made them price the iPad 10 higher than the 9th Gen iPad's price. And this brought it closer to iPad Air. Hence, it was really hard to recommend the iPad 10 even to my friends and family, and I instead suggested to go for the excellent iPad Air with the M1 processor inside. But now, the discounted price puts the iPad 10 in its perfect place in Apple's iPad lineup. And that makes things interesting, especially if you're looking for an entry-level iPad or as a first iPad for your school-going kids. Now, if you compare, guys, the iPad 10 certainly outdoes the iPad 9 with this all-screen design where you get a bigger screen in the same footprint as the iPad 9. It also makes the iPad look modern, like something which belongs in 2024. The screen is not laminated and it doesn't support higher refresh rate, but these things really don't matter that much unless you're an artist or an online gamer who would benefit from that instant response rate. And as it is, iPadOS is very well optimized, so everything feels smooth and lag-free. The screen is very bright and colors look stunning. That non-laminated aspect gets buried under those black borders which conceal this fact, and I'd strongly recommend to use a tempered glass screen protector anyways, and this doesn't make a huge difference with that on. Plus, non-laminated screens are cheaper to repair, so in this case, it slightly works towards your advantage. Authentication-wise, Touch ID is embedded into the power button, which works pretty well. Register the same finger more than once, and in my experience, it will never fail to unlock. And then you have that really important feature, which in my opinion is lacking from that 9th Gen iPad, and that is stereo speakers. See, the 9th Gen iPad feels weird if you want to watch content, as sound only comes from one side of the device, and that loses the stereophonic sound effect. And the iPad 10 generation thankfully has speakers on both sides in landscape position, so you can rely just on the internal speakers to get that full stereophonic sound effect when watching content. There are only 2 speakers on either sides, even though there are 4 speaker grills, but Apple does this clever thing where the 2 speaker sound is channeled through both these speaker grills, just in case you cover one pair with your fingers whilst holding the iPad in your hands or whilst gaming, as that way there are 2 more grills where the sound can channel from. Pretty clever if you think about it. Then you have the USB-C port, so thankfully the iPad 10 bids goodbye to the Lightning port and incorporates the more standard USB-C port. So you can find chargers easily, and more importantly, you can easily transfer files via external hard drives. This also helps if you have the latest iPhone 15 series, as for the first time, the latest iPhones also have USB-C ports instead of Lightning. So just carry the charger and the cable which you get inside the iPad 10 Gen box, and you'll be perfectly fine for both your iPhone and iPad. Now, Apple Pencil support was a bit weird when this iPad launched, as it supported the Gen 1 Apple Pencil, but it couldn't work right out of the box, as the Gen 1 Apple Pencil has Lightning port at the back, and the iPad 10 Gen didn't have a way to support that. So Apple had to release a connector in order for this to work, and that wasn't readily available when this iPad launched. But now we have the USB-C pencil, where the USB-C port is cleverly concealed like this, and this pencil works perfectly fine with the iPad 10 Gen. It sticks magnetically to the top as well, making it easy to carry along with your iPad. Also, as of March 2024, this iPad is the only one which has the FaceTime camera in the landscape position. This really makes it perfect for all your FaceTime and video calls, which usually are done in landscape position. The A14 Bionic chip under the hood is fast enough for all your browsing and content watching needs. It even supports resource-intensive gaming like Asphalt 9 or Genshin Impact without any lags or issues. Even handled 4K video editing on LumaFusion like a champ, falling only a few seconds behind the iPad Air when exporting a 10-minute long 4K video project. The camera at the back is pretty decent for a tablet, supporting 4K video recording up to 60 FPS. It also supports Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2. And more importantly, you can get plenty of first-party and third-party accessories and keyboard cases to get the best out of this iPad and use it for productivity. Or kids can get full use out of it for their schoolwork. Coming to iPadOS, you almost get the full iPad experience. You just miss out on a few pro features. First is support for certain pro apps like Apple's own Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro. But LumaFusion is fully supported even for 4K video editing on this iPad. Then you also miss out on Stage Manager, which gives this Mac-like view of apps and support for full-screen external monitors. But if you're not going to use your iPad for these features, then the iPad 10 Gen is going to be totally fine. Storage-wise, Apple is quite stringent when it comes to storage on iPads. You still get the base 64GB storage, and adding more storage does increase the price substantially to such a point where you really can get the next iPad in the lineup. So ideally, it's better to stick with the base 64GB of storage and use cloud storage and external hard drives if you need more. I made a video about what you can store on the 64GB iPad, which is quite popular on my channel. I'll link it down below if you wish to check it out. So the price was really a sore sticking point on this iPad, and now with the discounted price, this iPad makes perfect sense for anyone looking for an iPad for watching content, browsing, gaming, and even using it for pro apps like LumaFusion and Procreate. Or this iPad 10 will make a perfect entry-level iPad for your school-going kids. Even if you're considering getting an iPad for your parents, this iPad 10 will be ideal. I recently helped an aged couple buy their first iPad as they wanted to discontinue using their laptop and wanted a simpler device. This iPad 10 worked brilliantly for them. I even gave them this cheaper ESR pencil which worked like a charm, and they are so happy with their iPad 10 setup. So that's all for the video, guys. What are your thoughts about it? Do you have any questions? Please do drop all of that in the comment section down below. And if you're enjoying my video, guys, a like would be immensely helpful. And please do consider subscribing so I can keep making these videos for you. And as always, thanks a lot for staying with me until the end. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.